Hey everyone, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a panorama photo in Adobe Lightroom. This feature has been in there for quite a while, much like the HDR feature, and they kind of were added at the same time. And it's a really great feature. It's super easy, and it really does a very good job at stitching together all the images, no matter how many images you have. And so let's go ahead and roll into it, and I'll show you how to get this done. And so you can see here right down at the bottom I have 8 images that I took, and this was almost a 180 panorama, and this was handheld. I did not have a tripod with me, and so it's going to take a little bit of work for the program to go ahead and stitch these together. And this one's kind of a tricky scene as well because as I was taking the images, the waves are always constantly moving, so it's going to have to kind of stitch those up as well. And so to go ahead and get the panorama started, we're going to highlight all of these, right click on them, and do photo merge and panorama. All right, here we go. We got the final rendering here for the preview, and so you can see it's a little bit low quality. This is just to give Lightroom a little bit easier time to mess with it, since you can imagine it's a lot of pixels to play with, especially with 8 photos. And so we have a couple projection options we need to do. We got spherical, cylindrical, and perspective. Now, the spherical is great for like wide panoramas, especially that kind of transitions into objects that are kind of in the frame. And so that's probably going to be the best one for the image that we have here because of the pier that's right here. But cylindrical is kind of has the same effect that spherical has, but it does a better job at making vertical lines stay straight. Now, the only lines I really care about in this photo is the horizontal line, which is the kind of horizon here. I want to make sure that's straight. So still, spherical is going to be good for it. And the perspective is mainly for like real estate architectural stuff. It tries to do a lot of distortion, and if the program can't do it, it'll let you know. And so I'm going to stick with spherical here. And then we have a couple features down here. We have auto cropping, which all it does is take away the white space and kind of auto crops it in so you don't have to do it later. Or you have boundary warp. Boundary warp is a brand new kind of feature in Lightroom, which kind of takes all these white features and stretches the image to try to fill out the spaces here. Now, what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to crank it all the way up to 100. And you can see that it fills in all of this stuff really easily. I can back it down a little bit if I wanted to, and then do auto crop. But I'm going to go ahead and bump it all the way to 100 just because it did a really great job of filling all that in. And so that saves me one less step to go into Photoshop to try to fill in all that stuff. So now I'm going to click merge and wait for it to go ahead and put together the final photo. All right, here we go. You can see we have another image down here out of our 8 other single images. And this is the panorama image that we got here. Looks really cool. Looks really good. Everything seems to be stitched correctly. It takes a while to render all of these, as you can imagine. But you can see it's stitched together really, really well. Lightroom did a great job in stitching all of these images together. So now we got to fix some of the distortion. This is probably a thing that will happen when you do panoramas, especially if you've had them handheld. And so just to fix some of these, I'm going to go ahead and enable the profile corrections for the lens and camera that I was using. And now I'm going to go into the transform, and I'm going to try auto, see if that'll do anything for me. Straightens it up just a little bit, but I'm going to definitely have to play with the distortion. So I'm going to go back to the lens correction and take the distortion and kind of warp that a little bit so I can try to get some straight lines here. So probably right around there is going to be the best I can do in Lightroom. If I was going to correct some of this, I would have to go into Photoshop. But I'm going to go ahead and scale this up a little bit, just get rid of the white areas. So there we go. We're just going to keep that the way it is. Maybe knock it down a little bit. So right there. And now we can do the fun bits. We can play with a little bit of the effects here. So I'm going to just take the highlights down. Let's try right there. Shadows up a little bit. Give it a little bit more tint in the magenta area to make it kind of feel like sunrise. There we go. Clarity up. Vibrance up a little bit. And there's our final panorama. That's about as easy as it was. So we took all these 8 images, combined them together into one single image, and now we have all this data to play with. So if we were going to make a very large panoramic image, we have all the data we need. So we can even crop down in and make it a very narrow one, that sort of thing. We can even just crop parts of it. So if we were going to make a kind of a different size photo print, we can do just this if we wanted to, and it would come out looking very well because we have all of this data to play with, because we have 8 images worth of data. So we have a lot to play with, and that's kind of one of the beauties of doing a panorama, is you can kind of play with all the different cropping aspects and just know that your image will come out fairly clear because of the data that you got. So hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial on how to make a panorama image in Adobe Lightroom. This is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and I'll see you in the next video.